Thank you for tuning in to the best parenting show on the internet, Post Daily Dose.
It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post. It's the Post. The Post Daily Dose. It's the Post. It's the Post.
Hey, what's up? Good afternoon, Facebook family, and welcome to another episode of Post Daily Dose with me, your trusted parenting advisor, faithful guidance servant on a healing journey. What's my name? Big Papa Bryan+Post. It's so funny to me sometimes I show up at a family's home and they're like, "Oh, come on in, Big Papa." So I hope you guys are having a fantastic Thursday. I'm actually popping on here early because I'm about to walk around the block and see a family, and so that's going to run into our time together. And I really wanted to talk to you guys today. It's funny because also we just picked up a kid just a minute ago just to give the mom a little bit of a breather, and brought her over for a little swimming. Hey, Stefan from the Netherlands. Good to see you, buddy. Good evening to you. And hello there, Mimi. I see you shining there on Facebook Live. And so we picked her up, and we were in the car, and I introduced her. I said, "Hey, this is Brett. Brett, this is my friend." And she says, "Hey," and then we're driving along, and she's 10 years old, I think. And she says, "Are you the same driver from the Facebook Live shows?" And he's like, "Yeah." So Brett is famous by me showing him to you guys and giving him directions. I'm a fantastic passenger side driver. I think I do it probably better than most people, especially when it comes to Brett. But we won't tell him that. I actually tell him that all the time. And I wanted to tell him several times today, but I didn't. So real quick, not real quick, hopefully quicker as opposed to shorter, longer. You may even be able to hear some of the voices. They're swimming, having a good time. So I was talking to a mom today, and over the last couple of weeks, she's been really going through it, and that's kind of the topic of tonight, working through the muck of developmental trauma. So I'm going to make this real short and real concise, because I also want to talk about vibrations. When children early in their developmental formation experience trauma, and it's like a stair step, because you take these steps in your developmental progression. When children early in their life, and this is like level 1, so at level 1 to level 2, they go, "Hello there, Jennifer B. It's lovely to see you. I can feel your energy from here." Thank you so much, my dear. When they are experiencing early trauma in their developmental stages, in their initial, growth stages of life, that creates barriers, and those barriers create impediments to their later development. So they could have experienced, in utero trauma, could have been birth trauma, could have been trauma in those first 0 to 3 prenatal, pre-verbal stages of life. It could have been at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if it doesn't get worked through, guess what happens? The child gets physically older, and a lot of times they get cognitively older, and they get chronologically older. But what happens is they stay stuck emotionally. So then, when they are stressed, especially when they are stressed, they regress to that earlier developmental stage. So when I am working with families, a lot of what we are doing is going back through consistent, attuned, nurturing, repetitive parenting. We are actually going back and we are repairing and restoring some of those developmental barriers that occurred to their children early in life. So a few months ago, we started working with a family, and from the first evening I was in the home, we went through, a 2-hour process. I was coaching these parents through this 2-hour process with this young man. He's I think 9 years old, and he was very There we are. I'm just sitting here patiently waiting. It's so strange to me that I can be on the highway and I never lose a signal, but I can be in a home. I'm at our home office. Literally, we have a home and we have an office inside the home in Chico, and I can lose signal. It's just the strangest thing. So it's what I was saying. Over the last couple of weeks, this young man's been going through this process, and I've been doing a lot of phone coaching with the mom. And, you know, I could hear sometimes in the background, I can hear the kids being escalated. I could hear him, and she's describing some of his behaviors. He was, you know, being physical and being a little destructive with property and being aggressive, grabbing at her and stuff. And I know that when children are stressed and they regress and they become aggressive, that's because they're resorting to a developmental stage of about 2 years old. That's where all aggression arises from. So it doesn't matter how old your child is. Aggressive energy is being manifested from a developmental stage around 2 years old, and it is so, you know, there's so many opportunities to look and ask yourself, you know, ask people that you're with, whatever, like what happened for that child around the age of 2. You're almost always going to get some kind of trauma there. And Wendy says, can I just say I love these folks. As a poor struggling grad student, they sent me a free resource. Oh, Wendy, thank you so much. That's great. Annalisa says, best way to deal with loss of school, not getting to have last day. It's trigger abandonment issues, absolutely. Oh, thank you again, Wendy. So what happens is what happened with this particular family is I could hear that this young man was no longer at an infant place. I could literally hear a 2-year-old. And the behavior mom was describing reminded me of a 2-year-old. And I thought, but I didn't say to her, I actually said it today. I said, he is working through a developmental stage. And so she was taking him through this process. And finally, after about 2 weeks of just kind of going through this process with him, and this is a mom, mind you. She's married, but husband works out of town. He's gone all week long. And she has 7 kids. 7 kids. And one of them, the youngest one, is 16 months old, because I just asked her today. So she is 16 months old all the way up. And the youngest in the home, I think, is 16. The oldest in the home is 16, 15, and then all the way down to, 6 or 7 kids. And so as we're working through the situation with this young man, she finally, one day, I had her create containment for him in her room, bring him into your room, tell him to let you have it, give it to you. You're going to be there. He's expressing. And finally, she texted me. She said that he is on my lap and his face is nuzzled into me. She said, I have never felt him this calm. And today when she was describing it, she was saying, I've never felt him that way. We have never had that kind of relationship. She said he was rubbing my neck and he was nuzzling his face against mine and his head underneath my chin, and he was stroking my hair. And she said initially it felt kind of weird because we'd never experienced that. And she said then I realized he's just 1 or 2 years old. Now remember, he's 9 years old. That was the breakthrough. So it's been almost a week and a half, and the young man's been completely mellow. Mom's like, even stuff that I would expect him to be stressed over, he hasn't gotten stressed over. So she's like, I'm just kind of like waiting for something to happen. And really, understandably, something's eventually going to happen because his window of tolerance is going to close. But what happened then, at that point, is she worked him through a developmental stage where he had been stuck. If she continues to support him, when he regresses back to that stage, he won't stay there long anymore. Sometimes we go back and revisit stages just to get them shored up. But a lot of times what happens is when children regress, parents get stressed out and then they try to push them back up to be older than what they are. And then the child never really gets an opportunity to work through the developmental stage. With your 15-year-old, with your 12-year-old, with your 7-year-old, with your 5-year-old, oftentimes you are working from in utero to about 3 years old, sometimes 5 years old. And our ability to see that changes everything. Now, that's that. I said I was going to talk a little bit about vibration. but I'm not. That's gonna be a longer talk. So I already know. And I was responding to a question that one of the listeners had when I was talking the other day, asking me if I would spend more time talking about vibration. I do want to talk about vibration because more and more it is one of the most important parts of what I am teaching to parents about their children and trying to help children understand about themselves. It is the communication that is the most important. And so I'll try to remember to talk about that tomorrow. It gives me an easy topic for tomorrow. Tomorrow being Friday. I thought I was going to be on the road tomorrow, but I think I'm going to spend another night in Chico. And so that's it, guys. Remember, developmental stages. Before a child can progress, they have to regress. When you are going through the muck with your child, you are oftentimes working in an earlier developmental regress stage. Try to see the emotional age because the emotional age dictates the chronological, the cognitive, and the physical. The emotional age in stress dictates the chronological, the cognitive, and the physical. Meet the emotional age. Try not to take it so personally. Try not to get so overwhelmed. And you will work your child in a short period of time. You will work them through that developmental stage where they've been stuck. And they will make a developmental leap. And you will be so happy. Big Papa loves you. God bless you. Remember, in any given situation, you always have two choices. You can continue to react from the same blueprints of stress, fear, and overwhelm. Or you can stop. You can slow down. Take 3 to 10 deep breaths. And choose love. And thank you so much, Christy Saul, for sending me those 50 stars. Making it rain. Christy made it rain on Big Papa. All right, you guys have a fantastic evening. And I'll see you tomorrow.